Yep.
Okay.
There you go. How's everybody doing out there? We're going to have our story time right now. And got a couple special surprises here. Good stories. There we go. Must be time. It's been quiet here. Hello, Hannah Ban. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Just a minute, I messed up my screen. Oh, no. There we go. That'll teach me, don't wipe off the mouse. You mess it up. All right. So how about we'll read a little bit, and then if you have any questions at the end about any of the cats or what's going on here or whatever, we will have a little bit of time to do that too. Yeah. Oh, you're very welcome. Well, actually, I was going to jabber, so you guys just hang on. Whoop. Just a second. Gotta get this one. Hello. What happened? Well, did they say something? Oh, you did? Okay, all right. Well, let's try again later. Yeah, because we still got to do that. Okay. All right. So what? By which one? As your face? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. How's the decision? Yeah. All right. We'll go again later. All right. All right. Well, you don't want to rile the neighbors either. Yeah, don't get trapped today. I need you yet. Yeah. All right. Well, but you got the kitties done then? Okay, cool. All right. Okay. Well, I'll see you tomorrow then. All right. Bye-bye. All right. I think that's enough choice. Oh, you're gonna go get it, huh? Okay, so back to this. So when we're done, we'll have a question answer time. Don't know if I know the answers, but I'll sure give it my try. Hi, Ross. All right. Canby's over here watching me. All right, we've got a couple things here we can read, and I've been saving these, and then next Wednesday we're also going to do another story time. Cindy has written one of the stories we're going to do tonight, and then next Wednesday there's another one. And for Valentine's Day we have another one that we're going to read, and those are all from Cindy. Oh, something else popped in my head. Yeah, and at the end, if somebody reminds me, maybe Sonia, remind me, we can talk about the royal voting thing, the royal, what are we calling it? Royalty voting. So we'll shed some light on that as well. And then talk about everything at the end, okay? So we'll have some fun. Yeah, we've got story times ahead. So this one is one that Cindy wrote, and I don't read these until I actually read them to you guys, but I do know she said this was about Ramsey, and it's called Rambo Andrade, the race car driver. This is the story of one of the most handy-capable CH cats ever. He will amaze you with his capabilities. I bet you didn't know that Ramsey is one of the fastest race car drivers in all of Defiance. Springtime is the nicest weather to spend outdoors, and somehow the weather always seems to be almost perfect. It's not too hot and not too cold, and the bugs are at a minimum. Everything seems to come alive once again. The birds start singing, the flowers start blooming, and Ramsey itches to get behind the wheel of his race car. There is a group of friends from FFRC, and they all live together. We call them the residents. They are all handy capable, but they all help one another out. In this instance, the only help Ramsey needs is assistance getting into his car. Once he's in, it's pedal to the metal. It was a beautiful Saturday morning, and the FFRC gang took a ride down to the putt-putt racetrack. We do have a putt-putt racetrack. This is where they practice racing to see who was the fastest. The group consisted of Derecho, Magic, Ramsey, Spiker, Coralie, Alma, Hensley, and Vernon. Derecho, as everybody knows, he's the chief of the pack. He is responsible for making sure they all are safe and have a great time. Magic, well, let's say he is second in command. He is right up there with Derecho in terms of keeping them in line. Ramsey is the live wire of the bunch. There is nothing that can stop this little guy. Just watch and you will see. Coralie is one of the girls in the group. She just likes to be the queen and always lends her moral support. Where's all our kids? I think they're all in my purple office. Then there is Alma. She is more in tune with wanting to try whatever everybody else does. She will try anything once. We can't forget Spiker. He is one cute guy who lives his best shot at everything he does. Who gives his best shot at everything he does. He loves to have fun. The last two of the bunch are Hensley and Vernon. Let's just say these two make a game out of who is the most macho. Boy, isn't that the truth. The racetrack lit up in the sun, and Ramsey, who was also known as Rambo Andrade, couldn't wait to get behind the wheel. His car number was number 1 because, let's face it, after all, he is number 1. He bounced around as the guys dressed him in his racing suit. Come on, hurry up, he said. Hold on a second, Rambo. You are almost ready, said Derecho. They zipped his suit and helped him into his car. Magic handed him his helmet and said, buckle up for safety. Ramsey was so excited. He turned the key and the engine started right up. It sounded like a purring kitten. He revved the engine to warm it up. After all, it had been in storage all winter. He needed to get this baby ready to go. After a few minutes, he pulled the car up to the starting line. Coralie held the flag to signal him for when it was ready to go. Ramsey wanted to make a lap on his own to tear up the track, and then the others would join him. Ready, Ramsey? Shouted Derecho. Ready, D-Man. Magic nodded for Coralie to wave the flag in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Ramsey pressed the pedal, and the car shot off like a rocket. Whoa, the speedometer went up quickly. 20, 30, 40 miles an hour. Ramsey rounded the first corner going 40 miles an hour. Wow! As he headed further down the track, he went up to 50 miles an hour. Here comes the second turn. He tapped the brakes just a bit, and there he goes, folks. He finished the first lap in an astounding 58 seconds. The gang jumped and cheered from the sidelines. Go, Rambo! He slowed the car down as he made his way to the pit stop. He was so excited he just couldn't keep still. He made great time. The gang ran over to the car and congratulated Ramsey on an awesome first run. "Think you can beat last year's record?" asked Spiker. "I don't know, but I'm going to try," said Ramsey. "Okay, let's all gear up and take a few laps," said Magic. They slipped their racing suits on and grabbed their helmets. All of their cars are modified to fit their needs. One by one, they rolled their cars up to the starting line. Engines revved and energy levels were high as they all had winning on their minds. Elma watched the stopwatch while Coralie was ready to wave the flag. "Gentlemen, start your engines," shouted Elma. Once again, the air was filled with the sound of engines revving. The timer on the board started counting down. 3, 2, 1, go! Coralie waved the flag and they were off. They pushed the pedals to the floor and off they went. Magic's car had a special handle that worked like a pedal, except he used his front paws. Ramsey's car had that was Magic's car. Ramsey's car had special raised pedals that only he could reach. Out of the gate, as you would expect, is Ramsey, taking the lead, heading into the first turn, followed by Magic a close second. In third was Spiker. He was determined not to come in last. Tied for fourth and fifth was Rachel and Vernon, while in sixth was Hensley. He was edging into fifth. This race was based on 2 laps around, so the first was off to a fantastic start. Remember, anything can happen and anyone can win. Now headed into the second turn, it was Rambo on top in first place with Magic still in second. Rachel was catching up to Spiker in the third, leaving Hensley and Vernon with some catching up to do. As they approached the finish line to complete the first lap, Coralie started waving the flag. The timer on the stopwatch was reading 50 seconds, with Ramsey crossing the line. Wow! Folks, he beat his time on the last run. He was so excited he bounced around in his seat. Crossing the line next was Magic, followed by Spiker, D-Man, and then Hensley and Vernon. It was still early in the race with one more lap to go. As everyone knows, Ramsey loves music and he dances to it, so to give him that extra jolt of adrenaline, he is blasting the song "Ride Like the Wind" by Christopher Cross from his radio as he rounds the track. Uh-oh, folks, what's happening? Suddenly, Ramsey, Magic, and Spiker are hitting the brakes. It looks like there is a squirrel about to cross the track. Oh, wait, the squirrel is just sitting in the middle of the track. As the cars grew closer, the squirrel got the feeling that they weren't going to stop. So at the last second, it leaped to the side. Phew! Pesky critter almost got nailed. "Woohoo!" yelled Ramsey, "out of my way." He pressed the pedal to the metal once again and regained his speed. We are into the second lap, and it looks like Hensley is making a move. He's coming up on the left of Vernon. They are neck and neck. Miraculously, Hensley takes the lead over Vernon. What a comeback! Meanwhile, Rachel is still neck to neck with Spiker and Magic as a close second to Ramsey. Around the first turn, they go with speeds over 50 miles per hour. Hensley is moving up, but he is trying to pass Rachel. But D-Man sees him on the right and is holding them back. Spiker decides to try to take on Magic, but no luck. Magic is not giving up second place without a fight. Ramsey now has a comfortable lead in first. As for Vernon, well, he seems a bit distracted. Up in the bleachers is the rest of the FFRC gang. It's Canvey, Lucy, Kiera, Pania, and Vernon's girl, Marilyn, who apparently has got his attention. "Hey, Vern, keep your eye on the road, buddy." She was holding up a sign that read, "Love you, Vernon." I guess he didn't care if he won, because in Marilyn's eyes, he was a winner. Hensley continued to make his move. He was almost tied with Rachel. No, wait, he is tied with Rachel. They were headed towards the finish line with Ramsey in first, Magic second, Spiker third, and Derecho and Hensley tied for fourth. Hang on, folks. It looks like Vernon is pulled over to the side. Oh, no. And is talking with Marilyn. Looks like he is out of the race, but in just a few more seconds, we will have a winner. And it's Ramsey crossing the finish line in just under 2 minutes. Magic is in second. What a race this was. Once again, Rambo Andrade is the champ. As the race came to a close, the gang gathered by the bleachers to congratulate Ramsey on yet another big win. Great job, Rambo. As far as everyone else, they just enjoyed hanging out together. They had so much fun, they were planning their next visit to practice. Come on, you're okay. I think next time we need to make more laps, said Magic. I could have beat Ramsey. I don't know, said Spiker. He's pretty fast and he's a natural. I guess if you think about it, we are all a natural at certain things. And in this case, this is a natural for Ramsey. And there's Ramsey at the finish line. Yay, Rambo. So it was Rambo, who is Ramsey's. Magic was second. And Vernon, I'm not sure, he's probably still talking to Magic, or still talking to Marilyn. Linda, this is an awesome story. Cool story. If anybody wants a copy of that, you can, well, wait, no, I think there's going to be maybe a book on that, so we'll have to wait. Yeah, that was a good story. Yeah, yeah, it's Kiera. Huh. Yeah, I think I said, didn't say Kiera. You okay, girl? This is a storybook that we had been sent to us quite a while ago, and it's really cool. It's Betty Tales, The True Story of a Brave Bobblehead Cat. It's a small book about an equally small cat with a big heart. The hero of the story is Betty, a little cat whose attitude says, I can do that. Born with a disability, Betty found a home with the author and her family. Little did they know when they took her in that Betty would teach them about determination, persistence, and acceptance. The book shares the lessons Betty's family has learned, and it teaches children and adults to overcome obstacles. Just as Betty learned to climb stairs, a major obstacle in her life, we all can learn to climb over obstacles in our lives. Disabilities need not define what a person becomes. Hang on and we'll do this one.
There you go. Playroom here.
Yeah, hey, I was waiting for that.
There you go.
Well, great, thank you so much. Oh, did you put a battery in there?
No, you're supposed to have batteries in it?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, maybe not. Oh, is that what you got for the kitties?
Yeah.
Aww.
Well, I don't know if I play with it or not, but
Yeah. Oh, I bet they will like that. Oh, do you have, Steve, will you
Here, you
sign?
gotta sign for it.
Yeah, Steve, will you sign? Thank you, Steve. I know. Steve got the kitties a toy to play with, that feathery one down there. Yeah, I got a feeling you guys will like it. Okay. Yeah, story, this one is written by, Cindy. I'm sorry, folks, I'm not quite in gear today. Yes. Cindy, I'm sorry. Oh dear, I'm so embarrassed. All right, this one, I feel bad about that. I'm sorry. All right, this one is The True Story of a Brave Bobblehead Cat. And the author of this had sent us some of these books. And actually, years ago, we had gotten these, and we sold them. It's dedicated, the book is dedicated to all the pets I've lived with who have taught me the value of unconditional love, and to Betty, a little cat with a huge heart who still brings laughter and teaches lessons about life to everyone. She still is leaving paw prints on my heart. A true story. And they all come with a picture. Oh, there's Cindy. Please forgive me. Oh, gosh. When we first met Betty, our family had 2 children. A dog, 2 cats, a ferret, 2 birds, and a dwarf hamster named Thor the Assassin. Here's Thor the Assassin. I came home from work one day. Here, I'll show you the pictures. I came home from work one day to find my 13-year-old daughter, Emily, waiting for me. Mom, she said, wringing her hands, I need to show you something. Okay, I said. I wonder what had made her so nervous. It's out on the patio. I just want to take care of it until we can find it a good home, she said. I followed her into our screened room. Emily pointed, and I peered over the side of a laundry basket. We all know what's in laundry baskets. In the corner of the basket was a tiny ball of softly mewing black fluff. She was the tiniest kitten I had ever seen. She could fit in the palm of my hand. Her eyes looked so confused. She was so weak, her little head bobbed up and down. I was walking home from school, Emily said. The construction workers down the block called me over to show me. They found her in the street. She was really dirty and scared. They couldn't take her home. I brought her home to save her, Mom. I gave her a bath. I'm going to call her Betty. Look at her beautiful eyes. Emily stopped to see what I would say. When I didn't answer right away, Emily added, we can give her away after she gets bigger. There's the picture. It must be Betty with a baba and maybe the vet here. I looked at my little daughter. Her big blue eyes were peeking at me from under her blonde hair. She looked from the kitten to me hopefully. Sighing, I nodded and said, yes, we'll have to keep her for a little bit. I went inside to call our veterinarian to find out how to take care of a kitty that little. The veterinarian told us how to feed her. We didn't have the right food, so we went to the pet store for bottles and formula. The poor little kitten was so hungry, she attacked the bottle. We laughed as her little paws grabbed it and held on tightly. As the weeks passed and we took care of her, it grew harder and harder to think of giving her away to another family. We were still determined to find her a good home as soon as she was old enough. There was a problem, though. We started to love her. On her first vet visit, Betty seemed to be just like every other kitten. She passed with flying colors. At home, we giggled at her little kitten steps as she wobbled around the house. A few weeks later, we took Betty for her second visit to the vet. The doctor watched as Betty wobbled around the table, and then he turned to me and said, I'm sorry, but Betty is a bobblehead cat. What is that? I asked. Well, when the mother cat is sick, it can damage the kitten. Her brain didn't grow as much as it should. It doesn't tell her muscles what to do very well, so she can't use them like most cats. Some bobblehead cats can barely walk. Betty is actually lucky. She won't get better, but she shouldn't get any worse. Don't we say that all the time, don't we? She'll always walk with a wobble like that, and she'll never be very big. Here's the pictures. Looks like Emily, the daughter's pleading with Mommy for something, and there's Betty plopping. Betty has been a feral cat. Had been a feral cat. Feral cats are wild cats with no home other than in the woods. They live by hunting smaller animals and sometimes, if they are lucky, by the kindness of humans. Feral cats don't have regular vet visits and shots to protect them from diseases. Betty's family lived in the woods near our house until construction workers started building there. I felt sad because I realized it would be hard to find a home for her. I turned from the doctor to look at the little black kitten. "Mom, we have to keep her now," Emily said. "We just have to." "Yes, Em," I said slowly. "It wouldn't be right to give her away now." The months passed, and as Betty grew, she surprised us with her determination to do things her way. Betty walked oddly with both back legs stretched out on either side of her skinny little body to give her some support. We've seen that, haven't we? She still lost her balance and fell on her side a lot. She always got a look on her face like that said, "I meant to do that," and then just got up again. We lived in a 2-story house. The steps to the second floor were tall and carpeted. At first, we carried Betty up or down the stairs. We wanted her with us wherever we were in the house. It wasn't long, though, before Betty hissed and growled when we picked her up to travel the stairs. She insisted on rolling down. She would thump and bump her way to the first floor, then prance around on the bottom. Her attitude said, "See, I knew I could do it. You didn't have to carry me." There it looks like she's trying to climb up. And here's 2 kitties maybe, and Betty. For the trip up the stairs, she dug her claws into the carpet. She pulled herself up all 2 flights, 1 step at a time. It was painful for us to watch. We wanted to help, but she was insistent and determined to do it her way. We had to let her. Boy, does that sound familiar? I mean, we do that with our kitties. We want to help them, but we know it's good for us to let them do it. Sweetie and Garbo, our 2 older cats, like to perch on the dresser or bathroom counter. They peered down at Betty like she was in a zoo. They weren't too happy. Betty wanted to play all the time, and they didn't. They looked at me as if to ask how I could have let another cat live in our house. Betty made sure they knew she was really the cat in charge. They quickly learned that they could just jump up on things to get away from her, and did so often. Betty couldn't jump up to follow them. That looks like a ferocious hiss. There's the fan and Betty. Every now and then, another cat dared to walk through our yard when Betty was at the window watching birds. Betty's tail poofed out. She jumped up to fight with her legs spread. We heard her hissing all over the house. It was a good thing she couldn't get outside. Even though the ceiling fan was high above her, Betty was afraid of it. Aww. And she would duck her head whenever she walked into the room. Because Betty couldn't run like most cats, she hopped and jumped to get to safety under the coffee table. She must have thought the fan was a bird ready to swoop down and snatch her. She was more cautious than most other cats because she knew she couldn't get away quickly. That never stopped her from exploring, though. She was just careful about it. When I napped on the couch, Betty liked to climb under my legs. She poked her head out of the hole in my favorite blanket to keep an eye on that fan. She liked to spy on the other cats, too. Aww. Oh, and there she is on the couch looking at the birds thinking, fork and knife. When the weather turned cooler, I liked to sit out front on the patio chairs and enjoy our little garden. If I sat still enough, birds came and played in the bird bath close to me. Betty wasn't sure she liked going outside. At first, she clung to my shirt with her claws, and she ducked her head under my chin. After a while, Betty realized she was protected in my arms. Once she knew she was safe, she sat across my lap while I scratched her neck behind her ears. Betty watched everything that moved. When a breeze blew the leaves, she never knew where to look first. There were too many things moving. Her little nose would go up in the air to catch scents in the wind. If a blue jay came to the bird bath, Betty froze. She looked like she was planning to leap off my lap and grab that big old bird for dinner. Once, Betty was sitting on top of the chair at the front window watching the bird bath outside. It was full of sparrows splashing around in the bath like a public pool. A red-headed woodpecker perched on the side and watched. He looked like he was a lifeguard protecting all the little birds. Betty's eyes never moved as she stared at all those birds. Her jaw moved up and down, like that clatter that they do, chatter, as if she had already caught one and was enjoying an afternoon snack. She would never be able to really catch one, but she liked acting as if she could. Ooh, that must be the real Betty. When it was cold, Betty liked to sleep on my bed, but she had strict rules. For example, Betty had strict rules. I wasn't allowed to pick her up and put her on the bed. She had to claw her way up to the side of the bed. Once up, she growled and stumbled over to the space I made for her by my knees. I was allowed to pet her once or twice. If I tried to pet her more than that, she growled again and hissed. If I dared to turn over, sometimes she stayed. Other times she acted like that was just too much to bear. Growling and complaining, Betty would head for the foot of the bed. I was not allowed to put her on the floor. She insisted on leaping off like a flying superhero. Betty has taught our family a lot about living with a disability. She has taught us that determination, persistence, and independence are very important. She has taught us to speak up for ourselves when we would rather not do something. She has taught us to be proud of what we could do and not to think too hard about the things we couldn't. She has taught us that even though her body doesn't work exactly like a cat's body is supposed to work, her brain and heart still do. Betty's older now. The doctor was right. She is still a little cat, but Betty is still very much the cat in charge and is still teaching us important lessons. You know, that is just so very true, isn't it? She has taught us to, and this is like our CH kitties, determined persistence and independence. To speak up for ourselves when we would rather not. She has taught us to be proud of what we could do and not think too hard about the things we couldn't. She's taught us that even though her body doesn't work exactly like a cat's body is supposed to, her brain and heart still do. I like that. And that's the end. Good story. I remember when we got these, the author had sent us at that time quite a stack of them, and we sold them. Betty tells the true story of a brave bobblehead cat. Very true. And let me check here. I've got one more. You know how sometimes I can't pronounce things the best way. This is, I think it's Picoe. What is that noise? Is that you doing all that noise down there? So we could pronounce it Pico maybe? I think we'll pronounce it Pico today. It says, the little kitten was cold, alone, and afraid. Oh, we've seen that a lot, haven't we? When a kind voice and the smell of food entices him to come out of the woods, he finds himself taken to a warm kitchen. Unable to keep him, his rescuer contacts her neighbor, asking if she would be willing to adopt the kitty. Already the owner of 2 cats, one more would pose no problem, but a trip to the vet reveals the kitten has a disability. This is a message of encouragement to anyone who faces disabilities and reassurance to those they love. I think this sounds like a good story. These were also sent to us. I actually have 3 of these. 2 of these we can put up like in a flash sale or if anybody's interested. So Pico, we're going to say. Pico, written by Candace. Oops, you coming up, Kiki? There you go. Written by Candace Newland. That is Pico. Pico, there we go. Thank you, Sonia. In memory of Nelda, who taught me, and Maggie. Wait, let's do that again. In memory of Nelda, who found me, and Maggie, who taught me. Oh, there she is as a tiny little kitty. It is so cold here in the woods. I don't even know how I got here. One minute I was riding in a warm car, and the next minute I was tossed into these cold, dark woods. It is so scary here. Surely someone will come looking for me. We know how that goes, don't we? Shh, I hear a voice. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. I'm not too sure about this person. I don't know her, but I'm very hungry, and I smell some food. Maybe just one bite, and I'll run away. This tastes so good. She has a nice voice. She seems very friendly. Now she's petting me. Well, that's not so bad. In fact, this is very nice. The soft-voiced lady picks me up and takes me into her kitchen. I'd like to keep you, but I already have 2 cats, and I just don't have room for another, she says. But I know someone who just might want to adopt a kitten as cute as you. Soon I hear another woman talking. Of course we'll adopt him. He can be an indoor cat. I'm sure our dogs Maggie and Cody will like him. I'll make an appointment with the veterinarian to make sure he is healthy and that he will be able to have a good life even though he does have this disability. The next day the lady takes me to the veterinarian. Other than his obvious challenges, he is perfectly healthy, she says. I'm so glad that you are willing to give him a home. He really will be able to adjust and live a very normal life. We are going to name him Pico because he is orange and his purring is as comforting as a cup of tea, says my new lady. It sounds like a good name to me. Disability? I can't imagine what disability I have. What could it be? Is it something bad? Is it something I'm missing? I guess I'll have to check with my new friends, Maggie and Cody, to see what a disability is. Oh, isn't that cute? Maggie is a very tall golden retriever. Maybe being short is my disability, but no, I don't think so. I'm almost as tall as Cody, the Sheltie, and nobody says he has a disability. No, being short isn't a disability. Thank you, Barb.
You're welcome.
Maybe it's having a small nose. Maggie's is big and black, but Cody's is quite small. I can sniff at treats just like they do. I can smell my dinner just like they do. No, having a small nose isn't a disability. Bang, bang, bang. There's a clue. Maggie's tail is long and very strong. It makes quite a bang when she hits furniture with it. But my tail is very lovely too. It stands up tall as I walk along, and it is much longer than Cody's. No, my tail is just right for me. It isn't my disability. Hey, here's a possibility. Big ears. But if ears are only used for hearing, mine are just fine. I can hear the birds outside singing. I can hear my people open a can of my dinner from clear upstairs. I can hear the wind swishing through the trees outside the screen door. Maggie's ears are much bigger than mine, but Cody's are just a little taller than mine. No, my small ears are not my disability. There's the vacuum cleaner again. My people are always complaining about all the dog hair and say they need to vacuum again. Could it be that my disability is that I don't shed enough hair? I thought that I was leaving plenty on the back of the couch, and just yesterday my lady said that I was getting hair all over her coat. No, something else but must be my disability. Woof, woof, yipe, yipe. There they go again, barking at the neighbor's cat. Cody even barks at the neighbor's car. Silly dogs. Could it be that my quiet purr is my disability? Well, I can do more than purr. Yow, yow, wow. Was that ever a great noise? That was almost as loud as Maggie's bark. No, I don't think that my voice is my disability. You are right, Ross. Squish, squish, squish. Here comes Maggie in from the rain. I could almost drown in the puddles her big paws leave on the floor. My paws are so tiny compared to hers, but Cody has much smaller paws. In fact, mine are almost the same size as his. No, small paws are not my disability. Here comes Maggie across the kitchen floor. She has long toenails that tap, tap, tap when she walks. Cody's toenails don't make as much noise, and his are so much smaller. Well, that could be my disability. Mine don't make any noise at all. But if I made noise when I walked, how could I sneak up on a fly? No, having quiet feet is not my disability. Maybe my disability is something that I can't do that my friends can. I guess I'll just have to ask them. I can't imagine that they can do anything that I can't if I set my mind to it. In fact, I can do lots of things that they can't. I can climb the tree in the sunroom. I can hide under the couch. I can crawl into the clothes dryer and sleep in the clothes basket. I can walk on the countertops until my people catch me. Why, what could I possibly be missing? Here come Maggie and Cody. They will tell me what my disability is. Hi, Maggie. Hi, Cody. I am supposed to have a disability, but I just don't know what it is. Is a disability bad? Should I try to lose it? Well, Pico, says Maggie, a disability is something that makes life more challenging for you. Your disability is that you cannot see. You are blind. I recognized it right away because before I came to live here, I was a seeing eye dog. That means I led the way for a girl who was blind, so I know all about it. Wow, blind? I would have never guessed that was my disability. I'm so glad it's not something important that I'm missing. A disability isn't such a bad thing to have after all. It just makes my life more challenging, and challenges are a good thing. Now, I hear a fly buzzing in the sunroom that I need to catch. That is an awesome story. I had a cat in the house. Amos was his name. He was black, and he had no eyes, and he could catch flies. He could catch flies. That totally amazed me. Every time I would know there was a fly in the room, or he would know there was a fly in the room before I did because of his action, and I would just stand there and just watch him. It was just amazing. And he would get them. Tux is in the big bed over there. Well, thank you all for joining me for story time. Next week we have some more stories, and then, like I said, we have a special one for Valentine's Day. That will be. And speaking of that, let me get my paper on what's happening with the royal voting.
a minute. I'm gonna help you in 1 minute.
Jesse is bossing Barb. You know, each of these cats here, they're so awesome because they all have their own unique personalities, and they know which volunteers do what for them. They know that. I've had some volunteers will say, well, that cat will never eat soup, or that cat will never eat the broth, and that's because it only eats another kind of food for that one. But for another volunteer, it will eat soup, or another volunteer, it will eat the broth. And these cats, they just know us. They know what to do. All right, so this is what will be in a blog soon. FFRC Royal Family. It's been 2 years since we had our Valentine King and Queen royalty election, and the cats have been heard. They want another one. So they speak, we listen. The last election voted DeRachel as king and Coralie as queen. The cats want to show you a fun day for Valentine's Day, and the reason for that is because they appreciate you all. They can honestly feel the love that comes from the cam. They would like their cat people friends to vote for a Valentine queen and king. We have 17 We have 17 residents that are participating. It's simple. Just send a check to FFRC with your voting request, or you can go to our website at FOFrescue.org and click on the PayPal link. You can vote. It's $5 a vote, as many times as you'd like. You can put your vote or votes all on one cat, or as many as you want. This event starts Monday, February 10th, and ends at 9 a.m. on Valentine's Day, Friday, February 14th. Then we, the cat's helpers, will count the votes and determine which female and male has the highest votes, hence the king and the queen. This royal couple will have a beautiful Valentine photo shoot done. We have a very special friend who is making a gorgeous Valentine scene for their photo shoot, so it'll be cool. Anyone who puts in a vote for the queen and or king will get a sprocket picture sent to them of the royal couple of their royal setting photo. Those voters will also receive a special cat decal just for this occasion. So what we'll do when we get this, who is the top 2 votes, they will have their picture taken on this beautiful Valentine setup there, and then that picture will be what we'll use for our sprocket picture to send to anyone who votes for that king and queen. All people who have voted for the new king and queen will also have their names put into a Valentine heart, and a name will be drawn. That person will receive their very own digital photo frame. Plus, 2 more tickets will be drawn. The first king name drawn, and then the first queen name drawn. Those winners will receive an 8x8 canvas picture of that particular cat. And then 4 more names will be drawn for 4 beautiful heart blankets for your pet. For those that did tickets but were not for the winning king or queen, you will still be involved in a drawing. Those names will be in a consolation drawing for 10 cat blankets. We will also, let me finish here. On February 14th at 2 o'clock on the cam, the first runner-ups will be shown on a special Valentine stage. Then the winning royalty will be presented to our cam friends. Following the royal showing, a special Valentine story written for FFRC will be read. Join the fun. Who will be the new king and queen? The resident participants are Magic, Coralie, Cutie, Pania, Ramsey, Camvy, Kiera, Pawpaw, who is also known as Bruno, Spiker, Derecho, Vernon, Jacci, Marilyn, Asha, Hensley, Alma, and Lucy. Please note that Nyota, Zelda, and Janie Cat are wishing not to participate. So it starts on February 10th, ends on Valentine's Day, 2/14 at 9 a.m., and the crowning will be at 2 o'clock.
Carly,
Okay?
how was your knee on that?
We were asked, I've been asked several times recently if we wouldn't please do the Valentine King and Queen again. Okay, and that I think is all I have, unless, Mods, did I forget something? But I am open to questions. Tomorrow we're going to have boxes at 2 o'clock. And we have a very, very busy February here. I think it'll be fun too. We had fun at the last one. Kind of cracked ourselves up trying to take their pictures. Hang on and let me get my calendar. So tomorrow we have boxes at 2. And you can, if you have any questions, go ahead and pop them up. Sonia, you got to tell me how you come up with these. You crack me up too. So, and then Sunday we have our annual volunteer meeting right here at 2 o'clock. Monday, the Valentine royalty election begins. Wednesday, we have another story time here at 5 o'clock. Friday is the Valentine royalty is revealed at 2 o'clock. Penny Lane also has a vet appointment that morning at 9:20. Oh, that makes me happy. Jabber and Bella. Rambo. I think he's actually on the princess bed. Yeah, he's on the princess bed. And then February 17th, Monday, is another Humane Day, and we have our advisory meeting. February 24th, Monday, we have a fundraiser, and it's like one we've never have had before. So that's February 24th, Monday, and it ends, and the drawing will be on Thursday. You've not seen what we've done like this before for that one. And then February 29th is our FFRC surgery day here. We can pack a month, can't we? He does. He loves that princess bed. And you can't see, but to the right of him, Lucy's on there too with him. We have the doors all open so the kitties from the back to the front can maybe start thinking about coming up. But in the meantime, the kitties from up here have been going way in the back. And that is helping them to get to know some of the new kitties back there and kind of making some friends. Mucky, that gorgeous big hunk, he's huge. Black and white cat has been coming up to the doorway there. Oh, you know, Catathon, we got talking about this today because it's like, Catathon, yeah. We're going to be starting things on that because our cutoff date is going to be, what is it? We've got a cutoff date already. What what is it? May 18th, I think it is. Might be that. But I know it's a little bit, like almost 4 weeks before, but it takes a lot to get that ready once everything is here. Cat this morning. Oh, where did Janie originally come from? Janie came from the shelter. She needed some help and they asked us to take her and I scarfed her up. A cat was mentioned this morning. What is the story with that cat? I think you're talking about Mpama, M-P-A-M-A, Mpama. That was a little kitty that came in here on Monday morning, had been found at McDonald's and by a friend of Jem's, one of our moderators and volunteer here, and Jem brought the kitty here that morning. We knew that she was hurt pretty bad, but I couldn't get her up to the vets beforehand because her respirations were so very, very bad that anything different happening would even increase her respirations even more. I knew she had a couple fractures of her legs, but we needed to wait until she could breathe a little bit better to do a transport to the vets today.
What's the matter, Bernie? What?
Is he okay?
Who is crying?
So, we don't have her anymore. We did have to let her go. She had a fractured.
You see your boyfriend.
She had a fractured left femur, a fractured right tibia. Her left knee was busted up, and her pelvis was badly fractured. But those things we could have gotten repaired. But she also had a diaphragmatic hernia. You know, your lungs are held up there in the diaphragm. And when she was hit, I'm assuming by a car, it broke the diaphragm. And so when that opens, it allows her organs to come up into the lungs, which is why she had a hard time breathing. But she was so cute. And I'm sorry, I keep calling her a she. He was actually a boy. He was a boy. But we did name him Mpama, and that does mean beautiful, but he was a beautiful kitty. But we had to let him go. We talked about it a lot at the vet's office, and it was going to be multiple surgeries, and it just was too much to ask of this poor baby. She was really hurt, but you know, she was eating. She was started to eat better. When she came in, we put her at probably 10 or 11 weeks, but she weighed just barely, did the scale at 2 pounds. So I knew she had been hungry. And today when I took her up, she was already at 208. So we hydrated her when Jem brought her in, and but she couldn't use her back end at all. The fractures were very severe, and her pelvis was going to be a trip in itself of trying to repair that. And yeah, I truly felt that was just too much to ask of her. It was too hard to breathe, and it just was too much to ask of a little kitty. So he was held and hugged and purred. He purred, and when I was holding him at the vet office, he had his head here, and both of his legs were up here like I said he was hugging me. So, yeah, he was cute. So, that's the hard part of rescue, isn't it? But in the back, we still have Mucky, who is that big black and white cat. I think he was 1208 pounds, and friends of ours had found him. And, you know, those great big beds that we had gotten, they're on the floor back there, and he lays on those all the time. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. And he's just really enjoying himself. And then the other black and white cat is a female. We sent her up Monday with Humane Ohio, and her name is Burgundy, in honor of Burgundy, our moderator. Thank you, Dark. And then we have another little kitty back there. Her name is Amania. It's hard. I gotta remember all these new names. Amania, and she's just a little kitten, and she was brought in also on Monday, Humane Ohio, and we sent her up to be spayed too. So those two are already spayed. So I'm hoping they will start coming up. Imelda is doing wonderful. She's that beautiful muted calico. She's kind of here, there, and everywhere. Are you waiting on me, Steve? Are you? I'll be done in 2 minutes. And she's doing great. And we'll get her. I didn't want to send her to be spayed. She was kind of skinny. We might be able to, Pilvi. We'll see about that tomorrow. We'll see about that. Monkey's birthday, really? We got him as, I think, I don't have his paper up here, but it was either I think he was 14 months, but don't quote me on that. Yeah, she just kind of strolls all over now. She's doing real well. Okay, well, I think that's all I have. Steve is waiting for me for some reason. She has settled in really nicely. Yeah. All right, well, Barb, hey, Donna's going to be up, I think, sometime tomorrow. She's going to walk up from the little house and I think put the flea medicines together for us. That was always her job that she would do here. And we have to have her do it because she's the pro on it. So we'll get Donna up tomorrow to do that. And then remember at 2 o'clock tomorrow, our boxes too, and envelopes. We have envelopes. All right, folks, thank you for being with us and just being our good old support system. Pretty cool. Thank you, mods, too. Oh, you're very welcome, Goosty. It's truly my pleasure. Truly. I gotta find... Okay, let me do this again. It's not that one. Oh, there's Steve waiting on me. There it is. That's what you usually do. All right.